So it's been a week since I put down the channel and since I stopped playing games, and I just cannot pick it back up. I just cannot find the motivation or the interest to pick gaming back up again at the moment. I had a feeling this might happen, and obviously I wasn't sure, but I've spent the last week, so obviously the movie went out, Freedom, and I spent like the first, I think it was 3 days, or the first day I spent writing the movie. The next 2 days I spent filming it, and then I think I did a little bit of finalization with regards to a couple of extra clips on the next day, which would be the 4th day, and then the next few days were spent putting it together. And I didn't do a heap of work on the computer. I think I've played Minecraft for about half an hour with my kids. So basically it's been a week since I stopped playing games and took a step back from the channel, although I was checking in, reading people's comments for a couple of minutes each day, and I've been out all morning now for about 2 hours walking around the town where I live. My car's actually in for a service anyway, so I thought I'd take this time to go out and just kind of just walk, and just be in nature, which I do plenty of anyway, but obviously today being a good day to get out. And I've been thinking throughout on my walk about jumping back into a little bit of gaming. I bought Sifu for the channel, and I've come to a bit of a painful realization, that being that gaming is and the idea of gaming and the idea of jumping back into gaming is just not there for me at the moment. I suspect it will probably come back at some time in the future. I mean, I think I remember I've been through this kind of phase a few times before. Honestly, they lasted years in the past, where I was in specific kinds of environments, like cultivation environments, I call them, where the whole focus is really about your spiritual path, your physical and mental kind of health, and the bigger picture of your life. And so there was a sort of few years on a couple of occasions where I didn't go anywhere near games and spent very little time involved in the world of technology and society at large. Now, recently, like the last couple of years, probably 2 to 3 years, I've kind of been hyper involved again since my kids came along. I mean, that was many years back, but definitely since my kids came along, I started to get more involved again in the world of technology. I definitely found it to be a help with regards to the issues that I was having, the difficulty I was having becoming part of a family, and specific issues that were occurring between me and my ex-partner. Gaming was definitely a way for me to stick with it and to kind of keep myself locked into the situation, to help myself stay locked into the situation, which obviously I wanted to do. But that was definitely when I picked up gaming and picked up the world of technology a lot more. But specifically the last kind of 3 years, I've been hyper involved again with technology and gaming and YouTube, and this leads to like the difficult and kind of painful realization that I am having, and kind of partway through, is that I absolutely love it. I love gaming. I love you know, the medium of YouTube. I'm not so much a fan of other forms of social media. I find it most often not particularly inspiring and kind of full of people's opinions and views, which is, I mean, that's one area of life, you know, but I try more often than not to kind of live outside of the world of opinion, at least as much as is possible. But YouTube, I found it to be basically like a library, you know, a library, a storehouse of information. Not only that, a storehouse of entertainment, and I've truly come to love it as a medium. But there's something within me at the moment that is absolutely craving and calling for expansion, and this is the problem with the idea of going back to playing a game now on the channel. Is even though I've bought what could basically be a game that is absolutely ultimately aligned with my passion, my deepest passion in life, kung fu, meditation, you know, martial arts, that sort of thing. Sifu, the kung fu combat game, it's quite new. I think it's only been out for like 6 months or something like that, maybe a little bit longer. And these mozzies are absolutely loving me. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift to a different location, one where I can relax a little bit more and continue. So clearly, you know, the difficult part about putting something down that you love so much, or have come to love so much, is, you know, I think I've spent so long involved in the world through the internet that it's like a part of the human being gets kind of overlooked or lost. I mean, lost doesn't feel right, because, you know, it's not that you lose it, it's just the human being becomes kind of preoccupied, or I think that part of the human being becomes preoccupied with the contents of the internet. Now clearly the internet is an amazing thing, but I mean, it doesn't even really matter what I think about it. That's the kind of, I think, the heavy hitting realization now, is I can try and have tried to navigate it sort of mentally and physically and lifestyle, but just even the idea of jumping back in, I'm having trouble even sitting down and looking at a video, let alone sitting and playing a game. So I don't really know how long this is going to last. There's something within me that just wants to expand, like I was saying before. I want to forget about everything that I've been involved with mentally, kind of all the ideas I've had, all the projects I've had. And there's a part of me that just doesn't want to think about it anymore. And you know, it's not like it can probably seem or appear like running away, but it's not. It's a case of carrying. It's like putting down a heavy weight, you know, having been walking around living, carrying this weight, or having this heavy weight develop, to have this desire to put it down and be free of it. So basically what I'm getting at with this video is I'm going to be putting down, I was thinking about spending this week jumping back into a little bit of a game. I was going to be jumping back on the live streaming, but there's just something within me that's absolutely rebelling at the moment against it. And like, the best I can do is I can sit down and do a little video like this. I'll spend an hour later on this afternoon editing it, putting it together. But yeah, there's something in me at the moment that's just absolutely rebelling against confinement, like mental confinement, physical confinement. Putting myself in a virtual world with a headset on, sitting and staring at a screen. As much as I have enjoyed it and do enjoy it, and there's a part of me that really does enjoy it, there's a more kind of fundamental part of me at the moment that's really rebelling against it. So I'm going away in about like 9 days now. That's my holiday that I said I'm going over to the other side of the country with my family, with my kids. And I think I'm going to have to say that although I think live streaming I'll be able to do it, because I'm not expecting to sit here staring at a camera, or I should say I'm not going to sit here staring at a camera, staring at a chat screen, talking the whole time. You know, I'm going to be exercising, I'm going to be out, I'm going to be doing activities, and occasionally engaging with the chat if there's anyone there to even talk to, or who wants to chat. So, you know, I think I'm going to leave live streaming until next year. I get back on something like around about the 20th to the 21st of December, and I figure maybe I'll do a little bit of something in that week, another video. But I think with regards to the kind of main channel and the main focus of it, I'm going to spend basically the next month meditating and reflecting on what I know myself to be capable of, and I don't really know. That's the thing. Like, you know, I'm still brand new to the whole YouTube thing anyway. It's only been about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, 5 months, and finding the way forward with this is proving to be, one, interesting, two, challenging, but challenging for the right reasons. Like, it's really funny because over the last week, any kind of videos that I have managed to watch, and I've managed to watch a couple, you know, a lot of them, like probably 70% of them, have been this kind of pointing at this idea of facing a fear, or facing or dealing with an anxiety. Like, I never go looking for this stuff, you know. I never type into the search bar, you know, what to do about anxiety, because I know what I have to do about it. I know how to deal with it in a meditative capacity, in a psychological capacity, and the reality of doing it is where I'm at now, you know, pulling myself out of states of depression and bringing myself to walking forward along a path, a way of life, with my kids, and hopefully with work, with the YouTube channel working, and basically turning all of these kind of individual fingers of my life into a cohesive fist with which I can punch the face of the world in the nicest possible way. More, maybe I should be caressing the face of the world and not punching it, but you know, I'm kind of more used to this analogy of a strong fist. Let's just go with maybe an open hand, a nice gentle palm across the face of my life. Anyway, what am I talking about? A lot of the kind of data that I'm getting input wise from outside of myself, I guess you could say, is this idea of the only way to really cope with the kind of anxiety that I have, which is essentially, it's become an anxiety for living. It's not an anxiety around anything specific. It's not like I don't have a fear of going outdoors or going into public or talking to people or anything specific. It's a case of, you know, the depression has become so strong, the desire to basically anti-live has become so powerful, and the depression has become so strong that now the anxiety has attached up with the idea of having to continue to live. And so I'm beginning to be told and be taught that if you want to go beyond the situation, if you want to correct it, and that doesn't necessarily mean completely heal, although there absolutely is a massive element of healing within this. It's like this is probably never going to go away fully, and what that means is then that you have to constantly walk inward into your anxiety and outward into your anxiety, into whatever situation, which is just life in general. In my case, the daily grind, the daily doing. You know, I have to, in order to face this, I have to absolutely make sure that I'm constantly walking forward into what I want my life to be. If I want my life to continue, the only way that I'm going to be able to want to do this is if it's moving in a direction that I want it to be moving in. And that is absolutely going to be a challenge, because I'm so used to letting go of my own desires and just sitting still and being still in meditation that there's really not much that I want. The core, I have to get back to this kind of core spiritual impulse to kind of be of service, to try to improve my own life and the life of the people around me. And obviously I'm starting with myself and my family, my kids. That's going to be my main focus, and I think maybe a knock-on effect, the way that I'm going to do that, given that this channel is a part of that, along with the physical exercise. I'll get into more of what I'm going to be doing at a later date, but it's along the lines of kind of self-mastery, self-development. I've got to really maximize my output with regards to what I'm doing in order to continue with and keep the momentum going in a direction that I'm going to be able to deal with and cope with. And so basically I have to constantly walk into my anxiety, relaxing, putting myself out there, continuing to walk forward when most of the impulses in my body are telling me to just lay down and let go. And so what that really means is, with regards to this video and where I'm at the moment, is I'm not going to be jumping back into any kind of gaming. And I go away next week with my kids. It's going to be a very full-on, basically 2 weeks that I have with them and getting back with family. After that I'm going to need a little bit of time out, and my kind of instinct would be, normally, like in the past, I would be, saying, all right, on the day I get back, I'm going to focus on doing this, I'm going to focus on doing that. But it's become way too much of a restriction and way too much of a stress. And this is another side of the difficulty. I've also got to manage my capacity, what I'm capable of. I've got to be kind of kind and compassionate to myself and give myself the space and the rest that I need also, but not too much. This whole venture needs momentum, it needs energy, it needs input in order to generate output. And so it's going to be a fucking challenge, I can tell you that. I mean, I said that in the Freedom kind of movie documentary. I really know, and I can feel it, and I felt it for the longest time. And this has probably been the biggest build up to the anxieties. I've known this for a long time, that if I'm going to do this, and it's something I've wanted to do for the longest time, but have been basically waiting for the timing to be right, and clearly it's now or never now in my life. So what I'm getting at is, I know this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done, really pulling the whole picture of my life into order. Up to now it's been a very free and open experience with very little conscious direction, although I've done like the meditation, the martial arts, all of that has been like kind of a free and open exploration, like an artistic expression. You can just do what you want when you want to do it. And it turned out I wanted to do it hardcore, and I wanted to do it kind of extreme and a lot, whereas now more of me wants to do nothing. More of me wants to just relax and dissolve and disappear. But the effect that's having is essentially causing a great depression and a lack of interest in life, a lack of interest in living. And now I need to bring it back around. So I know I'm kind of going over the same ground here, I'm sort of repeating myself, but I'm trying to get across the picture of the difficulty that I'm going to have is really going to be bringing this all into a place of central, kind of a hub where it's all in the middle and it's all given the right amount of attention. It can't be too ordered, it can't be too limited to a time, to a schedule, to a time frame. It's got to be like a great part of freedom, the importance of freedom, is knowing that to generate forward momentum, things need to have a certain amount of order, but you can't be confined to that order too much, or you lose the freedom. That's another way of saying what I'm trying to say. I can't really get it out very clearly what I'm trying to say, but it's about balance. It's absolutely about walking the tightrope, the razor's edge, they call it in some schools of mysticism. So clearly I'm going to be saying goodbye to gaming for a while, and I would, if I were you, I would probably, you know, if you were hopeful for that to return, I would say maybe sometime in the new year, but I really can't say, and I need to let go of the idea of doing it, because it's another kind of self-imposed stress where I'm trying to bring myself back around to it, and I'm wanting to do it for kind of my own selfish enjoyment, and thinking that I want to push, like, do it for you and do it for the channel, but it's just not. It's not happening. There's a deeper part of me that just can't go there, so I'm going to be putting it down. Maybe it'll come back at some point in the new year, but that also opens the door up, because the last thing I'm going to be doing is kind of letting go of the channel completely. Like, there's no way I'll be doing that. So it opens the door up for me exploring what I can do around the time that I have, and what kind of content that I can create within the boundaries of the balance that I need. So, you know, that's going to be interesting to explore. And so, yeah, you know, this is really just a little update. Now I will be continuing to sit here and wait for my car to be finished with, to be serviced, ready for the long drive to the airport, which is like a 4 or 5 hour drive to the airport from where I live next week. So, oh yeah, one last thing, if you've stuck around this long, the channel has been renamed to Living with Chill, because, you know, essentially that's the idea really now going forward, is to live and to do my best to live it in a way that is kind of chilled, relaxed, but also focused and motivated. And Living with Chill seemed to be a good fit, but it will still have the kind of chill and play games in brackets there for a little while, just in case anybody thinks, what the fuck is this, I didn't sign up to anybody called Living with Chill. But that's about it, guys. All right, so one more final thing is, you know, I definitely kind of feel myself moving towards the idea of like discussion and podcast, and that's something, that's definitely a thought that's been kind of living in my brain for the last like month. And, you know, given everything that's happened recently and the changes that I've had to make, I'm absolutely interested in sitting down and talking with people about their life and about spirituality and about the way they see the world, and about the, you know, the way that they are dealing with their own life and their own pressures and their own stresses, and maybe the way that they've come to deal with their situation, or also kind of events and things that they've been through, just their life in general, but with more of a kind of spiritual and maybe philosophical twist on the content. So if anybody watching this kind of feels like they might want to talk on camera, whether it's through like a Discord video thing or a video chat on a web, you know, through a webcam on a computer, I guess we could do it on the phone as well. Probably be better to do it via computer though, given it's a lot easier for me to record and it's a lot better quality sound wise and stuff like that, if I use my proper microphone and if you use the microphone. But anyway, if there is anyone who would like to talk along the lines of, I don't care, like anything to do with your life, whether it be religion and the way you see the world through religion, or the way you engage with life through religion, or I'm not religious myself, but you know, there are definitely elements of what I do where that the heart of religion kind of touches into. It's, you know, it's about finding the way to truth and freedom and the bigger picture of life, your psychology, your mental health, you know, whatever. If there's anyone out there who feels like they might want to talk and engage, and I'm very, very interested to kind of ask questions, and I'm prepared to do a lot of prompting, you know, like to kind of engage you and ask you specific questions about yourself and your life. And you could obviously do the same with me if you wanted to know anything about myself and my life. Or anyway, I think that's about it, guys. And I don't know when the next video is coming out. I'm going to try to let go. Believe me, I'm not going to let go fully. This channel is absolutely in my thoughts 70% of the day, and I've gotten to the point now where, as things are happening in my life, I'm automatically thinking, should I record this? Should I be recording this for the channel? But I really want to let go of this for now. This is really just for the next month while I navigate the sort of position that I'm in. I want to let go of like any kind of upload schedule. I've just kind of, basically I've done myself in over the last 4 or 5 months for 2, 3, 4, 5 videos a day some days, and now I'm completely shifting and redirecting. I'm not going to go and do the same thing again. I need to come back to a more natural, free way of doing this channel. So I'm going to let go of any kind of upload schedule. And no doubt you'll probably get another video before I head over to the other side of the country next week. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for checking in. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the comments. And most importantly, thank you for the support, and thank you for the positive encouragement. And I really do already, even just with the few comments that have come through, you know, I really do get the impression that a lot of you guys understand what I'm going through. And even if you don't understand it, a lot of you are very compassionate and considerate around encouraging me to take space, to take the space I need. And if anything, going forward, I hope that that's what this channel becomes for myself and for you and for more people, is, if anything, a resource to know that, fuck me, it's absolutely okay to go through this, and it's okay to experience it, and it's okay to be with it, and it's okay to give yourself the time to navigate it. As much as society might be going crazier and crazier and faster and trying to be busier and busier, there is a part of life deep in our heart that needs this relaxation, this open space, reconnecting and getting back in touch with nature. And I'm very prepared to let you see myself kind of reconnect in that way. And I hope that it gives some people who are wondering whether or not it's going to be right for them, or whether they should do it, or whether they could do it, to realize that you don't have a choice. Regardless of what your head is thinking, you need to be out there touching grass, breathing in the fresh air, soaking in the sunlight. And my instinct tells me that given a little bit of time in this space, it's going to allow me to come back to a lot more of the kind of business and busyness and tech world and engaging with the world in a more meaningful way, and in a more, let's say, inspired and energized way, instead of trying to push it all the time and make it happen. I think it'll be a lot more natural. Alright, before I go on talking for the next hour, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye for now.